What's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and tonight we got Dave.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the postseason edition. Here we go. Buckle up. It's going to be fun.
And we got Danny Boy.
What's good, everybody? So I got my military gear on here because I'm manning my battle stations. All right, man. We're getting ready for this postseason. We're getting ready to go to war. We out here. All right.
Yes, and for everyone who's watching, I'm in my 3-piece suit, rocking and rolling, as the leader of this ship. Alex can't make it tonight. We wish him and his family all the best right now with his daughter. And we're riding with you, brother. But just want to let you know that we're here with Five Reasons Sports Network. Just remember, guys know the drill. Subscribe, like, review, rate, do all those things. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the other places we go to. Don't forget on the bottom of YouTube to click on the like button. Go to our link tree, link.tree/Real Bronx Muchachos for all of our sponsors and for all the deals that you can get through any one of our guys, such as Lids, Southwest Airlines, Hilton Hotels, and many, many more. Boys, before we get into postseason, we got a couple of records we need to address right now.
Finally.
Dave's been waiting all season for this. Dave, you can do the first one. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, man. Aaron Judge crushing number 62. Finally, it brought back a lot of memories. I know a lot of people are throwing shade at what happened back in the late 90s. I'm not here to rehash the past. I was in 5th grade when McGuire, Sosa, and Griffey Jr. were going at it, trying to break Maris's record. And to see it done again on the American League side for the first time in over 20 years was absolutely remarkable to see. It just shows how much of a pure talent Aaron Judge really is. And I'm pretty sure Hal Steinbrenner was breaking stuff in his house in Tampa, knowing that he's going to have to back up that Brinks truck and actually pay this dude more than the $210 million they offered him in spring training. What he did this season was absolutely remarkable. A season for the ages at this point. I mean, not many guys bat over 300 anymore. Let's be honest. A lot of people in baseball these days, if you bat 280, 275, that's like batting 300 back in the 90s and the early 2000s. People just don't bat over 300 anymore. It's the way it is. It's the way the game is played these days with the shift, which is going away next year, analytics, all that stuff combined in. And it's just how the game's changed. People just don't bat over 300 anymore or hit 62 home runs and almost 150 RBIs. It just doesn't happen. And to see him almost get the Triple Crown on top of that was just incredible. So congratulations to Aaron Judge. Yeah, man, it was a great year. Great year. He was able to stay healthy, stay on the field, play a badass center field, and be the true leader of this team. So hats off to him all around.
Yo, do we see a Gold Glove in his future now too? I mean,
absolutely.
I think this year he win the Gold. Gets it.
He needs to win the Gold Glove this year. I mean, the way he played right and center. I mean, he's not going to get it because he didn't spend his whole season playing one position. He split time between DH, right, and center, unfortunately. But I could see him getting a Gold Glove, possibly in right field, if not center field.
Well, I don't think it matters that he didn't play the whole season out there. I mean, remember years ago, Rafi Palmeiro took 15 games at first base and got a Gold Glove.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think it just goes on the defensive run saved, and if he was top of even in center field, if he was the top of the list there, I mean, there's a good chance that he gets it on either position. I think they'll push him more right field, but there's nobody else in right field this year in the AL that did anything. I mean, my memory doesn't serve me right of anybody else playing a stellar field.
I mean, I don't follow baseball teams, so yeah. Well, Kyle Tucker in Houston, yeah, that's
Kyle
true.
Tucker, with all right fielders in PRS and outfield assists, so Kyle Tucker is most likely going to win the Gold Glove in right field. Aaron Judge did adequate for us. The numbers analytically really didn't grade him out too highly in center field. He was average at best. Above average in right field, and that will remain the same if he plays a full 140 games out there in right field, there's definitely a time he will win a Gold Glove. It's just not going to be this year.
Well, with Vader on this team for next year as well, I mean, there's a chance that Judge is not going to really have to see center field again. So, and as we always talk about, everybody else coming up through the system sooner than later. I think Judge will be, if knock on wood, he resigns. Yankees make sure he resigns. Then he could just be the staple out in right field for 8+ years. Maybe towards the end of it, he sticks more to DH.
After the season, man, I really can't envision him playing anywhere else. There will be a riot outside of Yankee Stadium if he goes somewhere else. It's not going to be pretty.
Well, that's
it's going to be like. It's going to be like when Gretzky got traded from the Edmonton Oilers. It was just a riot,
True, but something like that, that is something, a big topic we're going to have to discuss in the offseason.
Oh, absolutely. So, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but
exactly. So we had the first record broken, and then not just then we had another Yankee record that was broken. The bottom half of that in the same game, the bottom half of the inning. Danny, you want to take that one?
Yeah, Gerrit Cole had. A lot of people will be talking about Gerrit Cole talking about game 1 and game 2, but right now we're just going to talk about the strikeout record. 257 strikeouts is the new all-time single-season record for Yankees strikeouts, and it belongs to Gerrit Cole. He passed Gator, I think it was the second, something like that, with a K, and it's really cool to see. When we say Gerrit Cole, this is what we envisioned. It's this, and seeing him on the mound in the Game 7 situation, going 8 shutout. So this is good for the regular season. It's good for Gerrit Cole. Let's bring that to the postseason.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of postseason, for everyone's treat watching here, and then we will be posting each one of our own lists out on our social medias. Each one of us have created our own who we think is going to be on the Yankees 26-man postseason roster. Now, let's go. Everyone has their own abilities of putting down whatever player they want. They want to have in any order. You can have 13 fielders, 13 position players, 14 and 12, either which way. So, myself, I erred on the side of us putting on more pitchers in the AL, especially to start the series against either Cleveland or the Rays. I went with 14 guys in the bullpen, not the bullpen, but 14 pitchers. So, boom, there we go, and there we have it right there. So easy, first 4 are kind of standard. You got Cole, Sevy, Tyone, Cortez, and then I got Herman, Holmes, Loaiza, Efros. Chapman was an iffy part right there. I still think he makes the team. With some of these other injuries that came on, definitely think Clark Schmidt. I think Clark Schmidt and Herman can definitely tally some innings and to give you some length in case of a really tight game or a tie game going into the extra innings. You can let a couple guys go, let them go for 3 or 4 innings. Trevino, Castro, Lucas Licky. I really didn't think he was going to make this team until a lot of these injuries came through. And then Montas, I think they said from the beginning that Montas is going to be, he's going to be an opener / relief pitcher, and we traded away 4 guys just to get now a relief pitcher. 4 in total. No, it was 4. We traded 4 guys. We traded Waldichuk, Medina, JP Sears, and a position player to get Montas and Trevino. That was the deal.
Who was the position player?
Cooper Bowman.
Oh, Cooper Bowman.
Oh, wow.
So for me personally, when I did this list, I thought the pitch, even with the injuries that came up with pitching, I still thought that the picking those pitchers was the easiest part of this whole thing. And then when it came to position players, outside of the standard 10 guys up top, or actually more like 11, because Higgy's going to be on the team too as the backup catcher. Judge, Trevino, Rizzo, Torres, Donaldson, IKF, LeMahieu, Stanton, Vader, Higgy. Those guys were locks for me. It was these bottom two I was very very iffy about. I didn't know if Hicks was going to make that team, especially with whether or not Benintendi was going to make it back. I don't hear Benintendi making back. I know somewhere along the way something's going to change because it's been already Aaron Boone's already announced after we put our list together that Carpenter's probably going to be going to be making this team. So I know my list is going to be different, but I still think that Hicks has got a better shot than Carpenter. And then with Benintendi, I don't think making the team, Oswaldo Cabrera has to be on this team. I mean, there's no way. I mean, he can fill in everywhere everywhere. He can play third, short, second, first, left field, right field. Give him a catcher's glove. I'm sure he'll figure out how to catch too. You know what I mean? He's just that. He's that Jack. He's that
pitch too.
Exactly. He'll go get him with Matt Blake. He'll throw 95, 90 to 100 mile an hour fastball, and then he'll get a sinker going in there. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that kind of guy, and he's that dude. They gave him a big push. They let him play a lot, so I don't see why that changes. I don't think he's going to start though. This is my hot take is that even with Benintendi not being on this DS roster, I don't think Cabrera starts. I think they go with Hicks over Cabrera. At least to start. If Hicks by game 3, if Hicks is really crap in the bed, then that change happens. But I think they start with Hicks in left field, Vader center, Judge right. Unfortunately, IKF is going to be. What's up?
Are you smoking, bro? You all right?
Oh, I'm good, brother. I got the suit on.
Did you drink a little too much? Did you drink a little too much before making this roster?
No.
That hot take?
I told you, man. We got hot takes for everyone today. Oh, we're breaking it down. We got hot takes. We wanted hot takes. That's a hot take right there. I think that the Yankees are not going to put Cabrera out there. I think they're going to put Hicks over Cabrera in the postseason.
You're tripping, dude. You are tripping. Don't fall.
Zero way.
When it happens, remember this right now. When it happens, don't come hating on me when it happens. Remember that.
Bro, Oswaldo is so hot right now. You cannot sit him,
dude. You think that do you remember who we're talking about right now? We're talking about the New York Yankees who put proven talent over the rookies. They will put a veteran in there and let the rookie sit.
Proven talent, Aaron Hicks. Proven talent. Aaron Hicks can't even hit a freaking beach ball right now.
I'm letting your hate for Aaron Boone cloud your judgments right here. Because there's no way Aaron Boone's going to let that happen. There's no way the Yankees organization is going to come down the pipe and be like, hey, you know what? The last 40 games of the season, Cabrera's been offensively left and right.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I know.
800 OPS almost.
Oh, I'm with you. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you guys. I think he should play. I said I think the Yankees aren't gonna. I think the Yankees are gonna play. Are gonna be the ones putting Hicks out there. But like I said, that's my hot take. Everyone's got their opinions, you know.
We riot. Hicks is never gonna see any starting time unless there's an injury. Hicks is going to come in as a defensive replacement, potentially as a pinch runner, and he may get pinch hit at bats if it's like a tough lefty. Hicks has been better right-handed, but that's his role on this team. It's not to play 9 innings; it's to play 3 innings to relieve Cabrera left, and that's the only way he's gonna be seeing the playing time in the playoffs, and they may not even be aggressive with that.
I don't know. Like I said, I got that gut feeling. That's my. I think game one, Hicks is in left field. That's what I truly think.
I really hope you're wrong.
I hope so too. Because
I'm making. Just because I'm saying it doesn't mean I want it to happen. I'm just saying that's what I think is going to happen.
Oh God, they're not that dumb. They can't be that dumb. There's no way.
We've seen We've seen this team do dumber things. We've seen this organization do dumber things in the past. Game 2020, the stupidity that they did in Game 2 against the Rays when they decided to put Devi as an opener and put Ja
Jay
Happ as yeah. How stupid was that?
Yeah. No bueno.
No, that's really dumb. But this is even dumber if you put Hicks anywhere near the starting lineup. Like Hicks should come to the ballpark, expect the next game. Like he's gonna see his
Go
name
play
on
golf,
the
dude.
bottom of the lineup card. Not in the top 9. There's no way. And
What
that's
they should do,
golf.
they should get him a recliner chair, just let him chill out in the back.
Yeah.
Work on his biceps, do some curls, get ready for your pinch hit, get ready for your pinch run appearance, and that's about it.
Get the golf swing
That's the
on
only thing
for
Aaron
last
Hicks is
season.
good for.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no way. That's a crazy hot take, man. I'm reeling after this. Let's start off this show. I have anxiety through the roof right now. If that happens, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to see Aaron Hicks anywhere near that starting 9. Anywhere.
Sorry, I didn't come in with the freezing cold takes. I came in with the hot takes. Okay, I'm coming in. We're coming hot. I came in hot. Okay, I set the bar for all you guys. Now you guys got to try. Now you got to one up it.
I guess I'll just go ahead and just turn it up a bit.
Hey, turn it up a bit, Dave. Let's get Dave's list up here. Dave, take it away.
Right. Let's go, Manny. Throw it up there. All right. So, top 4, pretty much self-explanatory. Cole. I went with Severino as the Game 2 starter in case they play Cleveland. Severino has not faced Cleveland this year. So my thought process is if Cole can win Game 1, have Sevy come in and shut it down Game 2, and then you got Nestor for Game 3. So Nestor this season against the Guardians, 2 games started, 1-0, 12 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs, 2 walks to 14 strikeouts, and a 2.23 ERA. So there's your 3 games right there. Moving on to Houston eventually. In the bullpen, I got Herman, Efros, Holmes, Litke, who's been solid pretty much all year round. He's been the long guy, the mop-up dude, sometimes the fireman after King went down with his elbow injury. Then you got Loizaga, who's been throwing the ball really well. Could potentially see him closing out games in the postseason. Lucherino, Greg Weisart, who came up from AAA, has been solid since he came up here. First game was a little iffy against Oakland, but he then got it together and shut it down the rest of the season. Of course, you got to go with Wandy Peralta, another lefty, and then I'm going with Miguel Castro. I don't want to see Albert Abreu or Aroldis Chapman anywhere near this postseason roster. You're in the postseason. Now is the time to win games. You can't have guys on the mound figuring it out in the postseason. That's what the regular season was for. Those 2 can't cut it. See you later. Thanks for your service. Enjoy your next team. Then we go down to the catchers. Self-explanatory. You got Higgins, Trevino at the backstop. And then moving right along to the infield, got Glaber, IKF, because they traded for him. Overall, he's played an okay to solid shortstop. I still don't like the fact that he's bouncing the ball to first base a lot. I'd like to see more stronger throws from the hole, deep in the hole. But going forward, he will most likely be the starting shortstop in the playoffs. Of course, you got the little machine, LeMahieu, Rizzo. I went with Oswald Peraza as a bench piece at shortstop. I'm prioritizing defense, especially if you go into the ALCS against Houston. You're going to need that extra push on the defense because you cannot let Houston score more than 1 or 2 runs against you. History has shown once the Astros get a hold ahead of the Yankees in the postseason, it's usually game over unless you get the heroic, game-tying 2-run home run like we saw from DJ in Game 6 in 2019. I just feel better having Peraza as an option off the bench at defense in case you need to take Donaldson out of the game, move IKF over to third, and have a solid shortstop in the later innings of a series clinching game. That's my thought process. Then you got JD at third, outfield. Harrison Bader, I can't say enough about this dude. When we first traded Montgomery for him, like, why are we trading for a broken outfielder? But since he's come off that IL, he has been a godsend in center field, playing awesome defense, getting knocks when he needs to, stealing bases, doing everything right. Can't say anything more about him. Oswaldo Cabrera has been a surprise. We knew he was good following him in the minor leagues all the way up to the majors, but me personally, I had no idea he was going to be this good in such a short period of time. So I cannot see the Yankees not having him as a starting left fielder in game one. I just don't see it. He's been hot ever since they brought him up here. He had a little bit of a slump in August, but the whole team was slumping in August. So be that as it may. Of course, you got the King, Mr. Judge, and Wright. Stanton, DH. And I went with Andrew Benintendi at the time of this creation because we really didn't know what was going on with Benny or Carp at the time. But I'm prioritizing speed and defense over power. So honorable mentions, Albert Abreu, not on my roster. Aroldis Chapman, not on my roster. Carpenter, like I said a couple of episodes again ago, I don't feel comfortable carrying a guy on a postseason roster that hasn't seen live action in over 2 months. Sorry, thanks for your service. You did great. Frankie Montas, I would really like to see the Yankees shut him down until spring training next year with that shoulder injury. I don't think, again, having guys figure it out in the postseason is exactly a great idea. Zach Britton, unfortunately, he couldn't come back healthy this year. He strained his shoulder again, ended up on the 60-day. Aaron Hicks, go work on your golf swing. Timmy LaCastro, he was a tough call because he's a speedster, runs into a baseball every now and again at the plate. But, when you're doing a roster crunch, it is what it is. So he bites the dust along with Marvin Gonzalez. Ron Marinaccio, unfortunately, on the 15-day IL, not eligible until the American League Championship Series. And Clark Schmidt was a tough call for me. He pitched well all year, but lately he's shown that he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit. So, like I said, with roster crunching and stuff like that, Domingo can be your long man. Licky can be your long man. And I just felt comfortable with leaving him off the roster, let him get some rest because he's been used a lot this year, and then maybe bring him back for the LCS. So that's where I stand with my roster construction.
All right, my first question is, if you're gonna put Matt Carpenter on this playoff roster, right? But we put Miguel Castro, who hasn't pitched in 3 months, essentially, on the roster, and leave Clark Schmidt off, who's been nails. Clark Schmidt has been nails in multiple roles for this team. And you want to put Miguel Castro on over him?
Yeah. He's come off the IL and he's been throwing the ball well. I mean, you already got one long man. It's a short series. Like I said, if anything, he just sits down there. If he throws an inning, he throws an inning. I would just like to see Clark get some rest, regroup a little bit, and then come back for the LCS. Like I said,
he's going to have like a week off.
Huh?
He said they're going to have a week off.
Meh.
He's going to have plenty of rest.
I can't. Oh my god! I can't just go over my roster. But listen, I disagree with all you guys about the roster construction in terms of pitching.
Wow.
Because
I know.
because of the matchups. Houston, Cleveland, and Tampa are pitcher heavy, so we need offensive players to match up with their pitching. We need to move chess pieces here. Our pitching is going to be able to withstand their offense, and we're going to be pitching in lanes. We're not going to be pitching. We're not going to be using all these dudes for who? Jose Ramirez. Like, bro, we just got to get out Jose Ramirez for Cleveland, and for Tampa, we got to worry about Randy Rosarena, who always gets hot during the postseason.
I'm not worried. Randy Rosarena is the last person I'm worried about. The one actually I'm worried about on Tampa, if we face them, is going to be Wander Franco, because he is not even just head and shoulders above everybody else on that team. He is like he stands on all their shoulders is what happens. He is that much better than offensively, that much better than every other player on the Rays. And I will go to the grave on that one. It was an unfortunate thing that the Yankees couldn't sign him in 2016 or 17 out of the Dominican, but that kid can play. Don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's their long-term shortstop. I think he's going to be. He's getting too big to play shortstop. and should move over to third base. And they got that kid Taylor Walls that just nails it on defense for them. But that's their problem to deal with, not mine. If they want to play someone out of position, that's fine. But I think I disagree. I know I disagree with your idea of putting more batters, because I think that it's gonna come down to a pitching matchup, and I think we're gonna need the arms over anything else. So like where Dave went, that's why with Dave, you're muted, by the way. But that's why if you think about it, you need to have. That's why having 2 long men in a 5-game series is perfect, because then if it gets real tight, you can then keep some. You don't have to burn out that bullpen. You can use one of those guys for 3, 4, 5 innings maybe, and save some of those bullets in the rest of the team. Because remember, the Yankees' problem. One thing Dave was mentioning was that playing against Houston, that when Houston gets up there, it's a wrap. But one of the things that Houston always beats us with is because we go to the bullpen too soon, and they see the pitchers over and over and over and over again. So they know exactly what pitches come. They know how the shape of the pitches. They know exactly what we were throwing. So if we have more pitchers along the way, less time for them to see it, especially if we have long relievers. Boom! Now they can't really tee up on Clay Holmes, even if Clay Holmes turns back to where Clay Holmes should have been how he was in the first half of the season, with that nasty sinker and that slider. You know what I mean? Like that's where I think we all differ. And that's the beauty of it all. That's why you have your opinions on where everything should be. Dave has his, I have mine. And, let's go with we're gonna run with it.
And I went with pitchers that, Castro hasn't pitched in a while, but that could also be used to an advantage too, where you're going against Cleveland, where they've only played each other 6 times this year, and sometimes when you don't see a certain pitcher a lot, you can't really pick up on anything. And Miguel Castro throws a lot of junk sometimes that gets swung on and missed. So that's where my thought process was with it. And Clark throws that soft 86-mile-an-hour slider too sometimes that gets taken out of the ballpark. So that's why I did what I did.
Yeah, but I think the one thing I think you did,
and I have my roster split 13 pitchers, 13 position players.
Oh, Danny's got the shake going. I know. You and I had a discussion about this. I still don't think that I don't think it has to be 13-13. But I like that you went with that. Kept it nice and easy. I still, as much as I agree with you, I don't think that they're going to put Praz on the roster.
I mean, if Marinaccio was healthy, he'd be on this roster and Castro would be off of it. I just don't want Aroldis Chapman, and I don't want Albert Abreu on this roster. And I think Clark needs some rest.
It's $16 million a year.
My opinion.
Aroldis Chapman is going to be on that roster.
I
agree.
I'll jump off a building. Like, I'm not even playing.
I agree.
I'm kidding. But I don't want to see Aroldis Chapman on this postseason roster.
You're not going to waste $16 million in a postseason run.
Exactly.
You got 3 instances where Chapman's going to see time in the postseason. The first one is going to be we're up by like 10 runs. Another situation is we're going to be down, right? And another situation is we actually no, that's probably those are only 2 times.
Why don't we just have him start while we're at it too?
He could be the opener.
What happened as the opener?
Oh my God! Those are only 2 instances where Chapman's going to be on the mound. We're up a lot or we're down a lot.
Danny, you were right originally. You were right originally. There's a third time is when we're running out of options and you have to pitch him.
Yeah, you're right. We're in extra innings. We're in the 18th inning, right? Schmidt has thrown 6 innings. Herman's already thrown 6 innings. And shoot, we have a game tomorrow. We got to throw Chapman out there, and that's it. And that's really it. He's not going to be in any high leverage situations whatsoever. There's not a chance. He hasn't pitched in a high leverage situation in a couple months now. Yeah.
Since he went on the IL. Yeah, since he went on the IL for having an infection with a tattoo.
Yeah. Come on.
Every time I still read that, man, I laugh. I bust out laughing.
I know I had to say that just for you, Dave.
Another question I have for you, Dave, is why have Tyone on the roster if you're gonna go, if your plan is Cole, Sevy, Nestor, and you want to shut it out there.
Just in case it goes into extra innings, you don't want to, Tyone's pitched well. I don't see a reason why to leave him off the roster. don't. I think that would be a slap in the face, honestly.
Who pitches Game 4?
We'll say
for you?
so say Nestor comes in and has
Who
an off
starts
day.
Game 4?
Nestor pitches and says he has a bad game. Goes 2 innings. You bring Tyone in. Or say it goes to a Game 4. Then you pitch Tyone in Game 4. That's
the way you're setting it up is that if Nestor has the bad day, and you're bringing Tyone at that point, then you don't have Tyone for Game 4.
Or you can start Herman in Game 4. I mean, there's ways you can mix and match it.
I prefer Herman come in a situation like that over Tyone. That's the situation that Herman has done.
Yeah, like I said, you can mix and match it however you want. I mean, matchups with the batters against who you got on the pitching staff is going to ultimately dictate who comes into the game and who doesn't. So,
you guys are going to love my roster.
Well, let's go.
Let's get this up.
Do it.
Yeah, let's get because I want to hear your criticisms because I've had
let's go.
Bring it,
Danny, bring it on.
All right, so I laid it out there pretty simple for us. Cole, Cortez, Sevy, Tyone, games 1 through 4. In my bullpen, Clay Holmes may or may not be our closer, but we got Loizaga, Trevino, Efros, Herman, Wandy, Chapman, and Schmidt in the bullpen. So I went with 12 pitchers here. I went the complete opposite of you guys.
Well, you know what's funny? Well, I'll say one thing, Danny. So I went 14 pitchers. Dave went 3. You went 12. So I already know. So that means that you already went 14 batters, 13, and I went 12. I went 12 batters. So we split it. We all went in a different direction with how our thoughts are.
Yep. And it's gonna be interesting what we come up to, what the final product will be.
Word.
Because I feel like I got the best 12 pitchers we have on our 40-man roster, with the exception of the guys that are hurt, right? Marinaccio, Montas, right? If Marinaccio was available to pitch, maybe Chapman doesn't even see the postseason roster, right?
No, I don't think he does.
That's a legitimate question. Lucas Licky, I mean, he's great at what he does in a regular season. I don't want to see him at all during the postseason. He's not a postseason type of pitcher. He's just not going to make it on our roster. All right, and then I did our lineup in case. Let's see. So DJ, Judge, Rizzo, Torres, Giancarlo, Oswaldo, Harrison, IKF, Trevino, and then on the bench, I disclosed this to you guys on the chat. On the chat, I didn't know Donaldson was going to even make this team, but Donaldson, Higgy, Hicks, Carpenter, and Castro are going to be my bench. Just looking at the matchups of who we have, Cleveland and/or Tampa, we need to play chess when they're playing chess as well. Both teams have deep pitching staffs. We need to be able to match it. Vader, IKF, Trevino, all at the bottom of the order can be pinch hit by Carpenter. Actually, no. 6 through 9 in our order could be pinch hit by Carpenter, right?
There's no way you're pinch hitting for Oswaldo, dude.
Oh, I can see that happening.
I
can see that happening. Oswaldo, as much as we all like Oswaldo,
he's a switch hitter, bro. You don't pitch hit for a switch hitter.
He's not very good. He's not very good from the right side. It's just what it is, right? And in that case, you bring in a guy like Donaldson who hits lefties very well. He could play third base. You could move whomever around. Put Hicks in left. But what I'm trying to say is that Cleveland and Tampa have deep pitching staffs. We need to be able to match that by bringing guys off the bench to optimize the matchups, right? I think our pitching 1 through 12 is going to outmatch whatever offense they provide, because there's literally 2 or 3 batters in each team that we got to worry about, and that's it. Everybody else is kind of mediocre. Okay, Donaldson, mediocre year offensively, great defensively. Hickey's been picking it up. Hicks, for what he is, I said this already, defensive replacement, pinch runner, pinch hitter. Okay, Carpenter is going to pinch hit. LaCastro is the wild card in this. LaCastro is going to be the guy that's going to pinch run for Trevino. He's going to pinch run for Stanton. He's going to pinch run for Torres, right? And he's going to steal us a bag, and he's going to win us a game. Okay. Now, that's not my hot take. My hot take, though, is that during this postseason, I'm not saying it's an LDS it's gonna happen this postseason. Gerrit Cole will record a save for us, whether it's in a Game 5 or the championship series. And sometime during the World Series, Gerrit Cole is going to come in and he's going to have to get 3 outs for us in the 9th inning. And
I can see that happening. I agree with you. I see that happening. If they're playing Houston in the LCS and they're up by a run or two and it's a series clincher, I can definitely see Cole coming in and closing it out. 100%.
Yeah, but can we also agree that we don't want to kill his workload in his starts, though, if we want to do this? I mean, listen, Cole's a great pitcher, but we've also seen when he goes long into games and consecutive games in a series, he wears down towards the end. It's been there. So it is, that's a risk. But if he's able to get out in 6 to 7, unless of course, right, no hitters and things like that are like happening. But listen, I want Cole to just do what he has to do, what he was brought here for, get the outs, get your starts with a W, and get out. I don't want to mess with his arm, man. I just don't.
Gerrit Cole's been super, super reliable. He's been a horse for consecutive years now. This is not just an anomaly. Gerrit Cole's been a dude in this league for a really long time, all right? And he's your best pitcher. You could say what you want to say about Nestor. He had a great year. But Gerrit Cole is a $36 million dude. If he's got to pitch games 1, 5, and 7, that's what he has to do. If he's got to if he's got to close a game in Game 6, that's what he's got to do. If we got to win a World Series, we're riding Gerrit Cole, we're riding Nestor Cortez, we're riding Luis Severino. Those are our dudes, and Tyone. All right. In 2009, who did we ride? Do we care that CC threw 230 innings? Bro, do we care that CC did all that? All those dudes came in 3 days rest and they won us a World Series. Our starting pitching is going to win us a World Series if we do win it, right? It's not going to be the bullpen because the bullpen is going to be iffy, right? We need 3 dudes right now in the bullpen to kind of step up, and hopefully that's Efros, Loaizaga, Trevino, Holmes, whatever matchups it is. But at the end of the day, the starting pitching is what's going to be the X factor in our success. If the starting pitching fails, I can almost guarantee you we will fail as well.
No, 100%. And, I agree with Manny a little bit. I think Cole is more durable than your average starting pitcher. And where I'm kind of on the fence with him, not – how do I want to say this? Not exactly on the fence, but if you're going to have him come in a series clincher, I'd like to see him maybe go 6, 5 2/3 the day before or his last start before to be able to do that, to close it out. Because look at Sale. He closed out the World Series in 2018 against the Dodgers and then blows his elbow out in spring training. So, like I said, I'm not saying that he's fragile and needs to be – it breaks his pinky riding a bike. Who does that,
Well, no, I'm saying that's his stature. He's a pinky, bro. He's a nail. Like, not nails in a good
no, for real.
Like, oh, he's getting out.
I just don't want to
like legit stick.
If he's healthy, I got a
question for everyone.
If Houston brought him in the 2019 World Series out of the bullpen, Houston wins that World Series, and it's a wrap. So
you're 100% right on that. But before we go to our official collaboration on what our official Bronx Muchachos roster is going to be, I have a question for all 3 of you. Three of us. I'm staring at myself here.
There's only 2. Is there someone next to me?
Yeah, I'm counting myself on this one. Between Cole, Nestor, and Sevy, I'm gonna go. Those are our top 3 guys. Who do you think has the most wins in the postseason? Danny, you go first.
Just based off what I said, I have to go Cole. I have to. He's our guy. That's what we need from him. So in a short series, hopefully it doesn't go 5. Hopefully it goes just 4. I think whoever we face in the first round is really not going to be a huge problem. The challenge is going to be Houston.
Or Toronto.
We want Cole or Toronto,
Seattle.
Or Seattle, whoever we face in that championship series. We want Cole to be able to go 1-5-7 or 1-4-7, whatever the case is. with off days. I'm not sure how it's going to work out for the championship series, but you want Gerrit Cole pitching 3 times in that series if he needs to, and that's 4 wins right there. Okay, hopefully, right? And then you get to the World Series, and maybe Cole's not going to go that 147, but he'll go, a 2 and a 6, right? In theory, based on how things may work out. So you need Gerrit Cole to be at the forefront of at least 5 to 6 wins in order to win the World Series, and it takes 11 to win it. So you need Gerrit Cole there, and I want to say 5 to 6, and that's going to be Gerrit.
Dave, before you answer, Dave, 2 things. Alex, hello, buddy.
No worries,
up,
David.
buddy?
I am with you, bro.
And Dan and Alex had a quick question for you, Danny. He wants to know where Andrew Benintendi is. Where do you have Andrew Benintendi?
He's not ready. Carpenter is ready.
And then we got another comment from James. Love Cole coming in as far as a save. If it's a clincher, the day off in the championship series or World Series will help. Be at the stadium. Oh, good for you, man. I'd love to get to a postseason game. That's one of the things I miss about living in New England is getting on that train and just going down the Yankee Stadium. But Florida came knocking with an opportunity. So, but
bro, thanks for tuning in. That's my boy.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, bro.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Pound that thing. Tune in every week, Thursday, 9:00. Where were we?
Gerrit Cole.
Gerrit Cole, Nestor, Sevy. Who you got? Who you got is getting the most wins?
I don't know, man. That's a tough one just because of how shaky the bullpen has been this entire season. Over 162. The starters would leave the game with a substantial lead or a small lead, and somehow the bullpen would cough it up, or it would go the other way around. Starting pitching would blow the game in the first 5, and the bullpen would have to come in and stop the bleeding. It's really tough. I really don't have an answer for that because it can go one way or it can go the other. I'd like to see the starters get all win.
Hold on. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. We need
you're on basically the whole thing. Gun to your head. Who's getting the most wins?
Sevy.
Gut instinct.
Sevy.
I was gonna say the same thing. To be honest with you,
I would have to go with Severino just based on he almost threw a no-hitter. His second game off the IL, his second start off the IL almost throws a no-hitter. I mean, he wanted to throw 120 pitches and Boone was like, "Nah, you're done." That's it. Save it for
I think Sevy, the time off Sevy had, he figured something. I think they all Yankee with Sevy and Matt Blake and everybody else. They put him in the lab and they figured something out with him. They unlocked something that he hasn't been really using, and it finally is gonna. I think it's finally clicking for him now. His fastball's back up to elite level, averaging at 98,
99 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
On top, he was hitting 100, but the rotations is back up to where it should be at 2,300 and plus. The usage of the fastball is still where it should be. But it's the usage of all the other pitches that have come in, and it's where he normally has been a fastball slider pitcher. In the game against Texas, he went fastball slider, first two rounds through the rotation through their lineup. Third time around, he started breaking out that changeup, and they had no clue what's going on. And then he just sprinkles in the cutter here and there, just sprinkles that in there, kind of gives that a little. Is it a fastball? No, it's not the fastball, but it's not the slider, so they're off. It throws them off a little bit. I think that kind of stuff right there really is what's going to elevate him into the next level.
And one thing about Sevy, man, I think he was merely shut down to limit his innings and to give him rest from coming off that injury. There's no way. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I don't really think he was really injured. I think it was an innings thing. I think they were trying to limit his exposure, limit his risk of injury to save him for the postseason push. So.
It was the Tommy John thing, so you knew he was on an innings limit, so he was going to be doing the phantom ILs. But I think it's time. I think we're good to go for the time to reveal.
Let's go.
The official Bronx Muchachos postseason roster.
Kind of excited. Okay.
There we go, boys.
Miguel Castro does not make this roster.
Oh, wow, dude.
So I'll let you know how we came up, everyone, how we came up with it, who's watching. Between all of us who gave us our list, what was taken was anybody who was unanimous was obviously in there. So like Gerrit Cole, Cortez, Sevy. But if it was 2 out of 3 was taken, then they were put in there. So that's why we had two of us put Castro in there originally. So Castro got the nod.
I disagree wholeheartedly. There's no way Miguel Castro is going to see any innings. Lucas Lickey's not going to see any innings.
Alexa, cue the X-Files music.
Danny, I was with you originally, but with all the injuries, with the Marinaccio injury, that's why I think Lickey gets brought in there. I think if Mike King was here, obviously Lickey would have been DFA'd a long time ago. So I mean, I think that there are. I think that there's a reason. There's a spot for him just because of all the other injuries that have happened.
I'm okay with everybody else, except for Castro and Lickey. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Well, all right, so let me ask the two of you this question, because I see Lucas Lickey through a different lens for whatever reason. Maybe because he's always the underdog, and I'm just rooting for the underdog, and he has somehow survived. I mean, he was originally brought to this team because Zach Britton got injured. He was a non-roster invite to spring training 2 years ago, signed on a minor league deal, hadn't pitched in the major leagues, I think, in 3 or 4 seasons at that point. So he's had the X-Files music. I like it. He's had an ERA under 3. He's got, at the beginning of the year, he had a 21-inch break on his breaking ball. I'm just curious as to what you guys see as an issue with Lickey, because I don't see it.
For me, it's just
I'll go
the
first.
stuff. Oh, go for it. Go.
Yep.
Whichever. Jump in.
He's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick pony. He's a cutter curveball, and it's not enough to get consistent outs against the best lineups in the postseason. Even though you're going to face mediocre pitching against, offenses in Cleveland versus in Tampa. But do you really want Lucas Lickey in a game, whether the Yankees are behind or ahead by a lot, to get Altuve, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez out? It's just no.
To me, it's how he throws those pitches, though. If he can locate them and locate them out of the zone and get strikeouts or get ground balls with them, I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, but those are big ifs that you're talking about right there, because he's had
his
problems
all year.
Yeah, but even through that, he's had his problems where he hasn't been an automatic kind of guy. At this point,
he's been more automatic than Chapman.
Yes, but as we said before, 16 million is not going to not make the roster. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that a $16 million player isn't going to make it. Just like we can, everyone here can sit down there and have this big discussion about Nestor and Cole, who should be 1-2, 2-1, whatever it is. Everybody here knows that $36 million is going to be the number one starter. It's just it's going to happen. Cole says all the right things. Nestor says all the right things. I'm just here to want to win. We just want to push forward. We want to get the chip. Guess what? When it comes down to putting the rotation in order, Cole's going number 1, Nestor's going number 2, Sevy's number 3. And that's how it's going to be. Cole was brought here for this one reason: to start the series off, to put the Yankees up 1-0 in every single series that he can, and he's going to shove. And that's what they're paying $36 million for. Just like they paid Chapman $16 million a year to shove it at the end to lock it down. Now, before you say anything, I know that he hasn't. That's not been happening in the past 2 years, but that contract was signed already. He's got $16 million a year. He's going to be on the roster to pitch, like you said, when we're up by a lot, down by a lot, or we run out of pitchers.
All right. Well,
let's
before we start beating another horse that is laying around here somewhere. Moving on.
The batters.
Well, we're
I
already
mean,
wrong with the batters because Carpenter's on this roster. Aaron
Carpenter's
Boone
not
said
on this
today
roster.
on the.
Carpenter's
He
not
is.
here. Oh yeah.
No, I'm saying
Oh
we're
no. Oh
wrong.
Nope.
yeah. I know we're wrong, but according to, well, here's another question. So I'll start with Dave on this one. Higgy and Trevino, who gets the lion's share of catching?
You know, you and I were talking about this the other day, and I don't know, man. Like, Trevino was hot beginning of the year, made the All-Star team. Higgy was doing whatever Higgy was doing, not getting Higgy with it. Probably wasn't doing enough yoga. But Higgy's turned it on lately, man, offensively. But Trevino is just such a better pitch framer, man. I don't know. I have no idea. I'd like to say Trevino, but the way Higgy's been swinging the bat lately, that's a tough call. That is a tough call, my man.
Make the call, Tech Sergeant. Make the call.
I ain't no E6, bro.
Oh, you're not? All right, Sarge. Make the call, bro.
I would go Trevino. The higher pitch frame capability, better defense. It's what's going to win you ball games. Defense, timely hitting and pitching. So I'm going to go with Trevino as a starter catcher. Alex says that's the end of the season when Higgy does it. No, Alex. Usually it's in the summertime between June and July. Is when
for 2 weeks, and everyone
he gets 3 home runs a game for like a week straight, and then he goes cold. But yeah.
So with Higgy, the adjustments that he's made in the second half, it's been really good to see. He's been throwing out runners. He's improved his pitch framing. He was in the 71st percentile. I think until a couple months ago. Now he's in the 42nd percentile in terms of pitch framing. 71st percentile. Oh, I forgot how it goes. Whatever. He improved his pitch framing, regardless. He's still throwing out runners better than Trevino. Right now, the bat is hotter. I say Trevino starts game 1 because Cole's on the mound. I think he's going to pitch better. Cole's going to pitch better with Trevino on the bump. And then you're going to see Higgy, Trevino, Higgy. They're going to alternate. It's not going to be the lion's share like we saw. I think Trevino caught 120 games or at least 100 games, and you saw Higgy appear in 70. So it's going to be a lot closer just because of what Higgy has done with the bat. It's really going to be split, and it's going to be based on matchups. So I really don't think there's going to be a lion's share in terms of that. But if we're going to go recency bias and Higgy really just takes off with the bat, then you have to go with a hot hand, and you have to go with Higgy at that point in time.
And the other thing, too, even if Trevino's not starting in the game, he's not totally out of the game. We've seen him come in and pinch hit in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, whatever the situation dictates. So even if he's not starting the game, he's still going to be in the game at some point to provide some kind of assistance, whether it be offense or defense. So even if he's not starting, he's not completely out of the game. And that's what I think people need to still realize. So.
No, you're right. You're right about that. But what I mean, the question was kind of framed in.
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. So we all know that Trevino is starting every game that Cole's starting. I think after that, I think it goes. I'm kind of going down the line of. I'm just thinking about it because Higgy was catching Sevy, Higgy was catching Tyone, and I think Trevino had Cole and what's his name, and Cole and Nestor.
You make a good point there. Yeah,
I think that's how it's going to be going forward. I mean, first 2 games and the next 2 games, and then if Higgy really just turns back into the pumpkin that he kind of does after 2 weeks, then Trevino gets the 3rd game.
And the one thing I will say,
but then again, just kind of now thinking about it. Don't forget, like in the late 90s with Girardi and Posada, at one point Posada was catching more of the games than Girardi was. But postseason came, Posada was firmly on that bench because he was not trusted, especially defensively. As much as we like to say core 4 Posada, he was not. I always say Bernie Williams should have been core 4 over Posada, but that's a personal thing right there because Posada in 96, 99, 98, 99 didn't really contribute at all. 2000, yes. 2009, yes. But the rest of them,
I
no.
don't think he was even
not
behind
the
the plate for a series clincher until 2000.
No, he was in the 99 clincher. He was there
Yeah.
because that was the proverbial passing of the torch. They wanted him to catch Roger Clemens again in that one.
Yep.
So,
and the one thing I will, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I'll go for it.
The one thing I will say that Aaron Boone has done well this year is seeing who works well with who. He's done a great job this year at balancing how many times each catcher has caught each starting pitcher. So that way they're come postseason time is not completely foreign to, Gerrit Cole working with Higgy or vice versa. It doesn't matter who's behind the plate, that the pitchers trust both catchers. So.
Okay, I have a question. Since we were, that roster that we just put out, Carpenter's not on it, but he is on the postseason roster.
Yeah, it was announced
We have to take someone off. Are you going to take off a pitcher or are you going to take off a position player?
I would sacrifice Castro for Carpenter. I want Peraza on this roster.
Peraza's not making this roster, unfortunately.
I don't care.
But we're not talking
on this roster.
I know, but we're not talking about your roster. We're talking about our official roster.
I know what's going to happen. I already see what's going to get put out there. It's just if I had my wish, that's what I would. You asked me what I would do. I would sacrifice Castro for Carpenter.
I would actually sacrifice. I would do Litke for Carpenter. I'd leave Castro on there.
Litke hate's real, bro. I hope to God Lucas comes in the postseason in a tight game and just shuts it down, so that way I can text you and be like,
"Well, is that going to be your hot take? Because you haven't done a hot take.
You haven't done a hot take.
That's my hot take. My hot take is that Lucas Litke comes in with a 1-run lead in the 8th inning against Houston and shuts it down with the bases loaded. That's my hot take.
He's bypassing everybody else. He's going straight to Houston.
Going straight to Houston, boy. Going straight to Houston.
That's a really lukewarm take.
Lukewarm.
That's lukewarm.
Whoa.
March was hot. March was hot. That gave me third-degree burns. That was all right.
I told you. I set the bar, man. Everyone's got to come meet me. Haven't met me yet,
dude.
Come meet me. Come meet me up
so
here.
What's a scorching hot take that Chapman comes in the 9th inning with a 1-run lead against Houston with the bases loaded and strikes out 3 guys in a row? Is that hot enough for you?
That's dreaming. You're Alex over there doing something interesting, but you're dreaming. You're dreaming. That's not going to happen. Like something realistic that you think that could possibly make a legitimate impact, positive or negative.
Well, I won't go negative because I know someone else that's watching that always accuses me of being negative. Alex.
Love you, Alex.
I'm going to take the positive route, Alex. If you're watching, I'm going to take the positive route, and I'm going to say that Oswaldo Cabrera has a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th against Houston in the LCS.
Okay.
Against Justin Verlander.
Oh man, Verlander's probably throwing a no.
Verlander be out by that.
Hey, you asked for a positive scenario. I gave you one. Take it or leave it. Or Matt Carpenter comes up limping with his cane and hits a home run or hits a walk-off grand slam. I don't know. Take your pick.
Kirk Gibson.
Yep.
If Kirk Gibson could do it, Matt Carpenter could do it. They obviously believe in him. Benny's not ready yet. And that's going to be a discussion for another day.
Unfortunate, man. That's going to be an interesting off-season discussion.
Yeah, but that's an injury that wasn't foreseen. I mean, breaking your wrist on the swing.
I felt so bad for him, man. I felt so bad for him. He was just starting to play well too when that happened.
And I agree. Licky needs to be off this playoff road. He doesn't need to be seeing it.
Bro, I'm telling you. Keep hating.
So Matt Carpenter is going to make it, thankfully. And we'll keep Miguel Castro just because of the stuff. I don't trust him in a high-level situation just because he walks too many dudes.
True.
But I think if you're facing the bottom of the lineup for Cleveland, which is like Miles Straw, there's a couple right-handers that are just not very
Mercado.
good. Somebody, I forget who it is, but I looked at it the other day and I was like, oh man, that's
Gonzalez is their other right fielder.
He's had a pretty good year, Oscar Gonzalez.
Mhm.
But I just don't trust Miguel Castro in any other situation, especially now with runners on. No way. He is just not. He's probably not going to pitch. I think the
I've
Yankees
never
are
seen
really
his
going to
walk.
rely heavy on the starters.
As long as his walks don't come back and hurt him and add up to runs, I mean, he's had an up and down year. So
Yeah. So one thing I want to point out, when we were on that crazy stretch, our pitching,
Which one?
our starting pitching, the initial one, that's the first when we were 61-23, our starting pitching was a catalyst for about a month and a half, or maybe not a month and a half, but about a month there, where we were literally top in the big leagues in starters ERA, starters going deep into games. If the Yankees want to win, I really, really believe we're going to lean heavy on those dudes because we saw it happen. It translated to wins. So Cole needs to step up. Nestor, we saw what Sevy did. I think Nestor's going to have a huge postseason. He's going to surprise a lot of people, and he's really going to cement himself as a legit number 2 starter in the big leagues, which is a far cry from where he started with like a 10.74 ERA with Seattle when he got picked up in that Rule 5. Well, Baltimore, he was Rule 5 with Baltimore.
Well, he was traded to
whatever,
Seattle.
you know his story. Yeah. So, if the Yankees want to win a World Series, starting pitching has to be very good.
Mark, you go first. Because I got some thoughts on this.
The starting pitching is, you win championships with defense and pitching, especially in baseball. But I think the crutch for the Yankees this year is the hitting. I mean, the bats. This is what scares me the most about this layoff is that their bats might go cold. Glaber was swinging a hot bat. I think that bat goes cold because of this 5-day layoff, 5-6 day whatever it is layoff. For all intents
and purposes. More for Glaber. He's sick. It's about to be 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, he hasn't played.
Yeah.
He didn't play in Houston. In Texas at all.
No, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a long shot. I mean, Glaber might not even make the start. Just like the beginning of the year, he might not be on the starting lineup for Game 1. It might be DJ being second base, Donaldson at third. I mean, I know it's not something that's ideal, but I mean, just think about it this way: if Glaber's been out for 2 weeks and he's going to be swinging a cold bat, why not have Why not get your best defensive lineup out there? I mean, then you got to really start really playing small ball with guys like Vader, IKF, Cabrera. Start utilizing the bunts and whatnot. But Vader's been swinging a hot bat since he came up, and that's another one that I might feel that I have an inkling that might go cold during this layoff. It's just too long. It feels great because your pitchers are kind of they get a little bit more rest. Their arms and bodies will feel a little bit better, but those bats need to get going. I mean, whatever pitchers they have down the minors, just send them all up and just start firing fastballs at them all the time. Just keep firing, give them real simulated games. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen.
So during this time, Boone has spoken about it. They probably had today off. They're probably going to go to the stadium tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, take off Monday, and then be ready for Tuesday. But this weekend is probably going to be the biggest weekend for the Yankees in quite some time while we're not playing. they have the high velocity machine. They're probably going to bring some of their minor league guys up. Cole's definitely going to be throwing live simulated innings. Sevy, Nestor. They got to keep the juices flowing. But one thing about this team is that they're focused, right? They have the goal squarely in their faces, and I don't think they're going to let up based on the days off, just based on everything that we've been hearing them saying in the media, right? And I think a couple of days off for Judge is going to do him great. This is a great time to reset and focus on just doing everything that they can for 11 games. They just got to win 11 games. They got to be the first to 11. And they got to do everything within their power to stay prepared and be ready for game one. And I think that they will do it. I think so. I hope so, right? This team is built for the postseason. We have our power hitters. We have our contact guys at the bottom of the lineup. Hopefully, the power hitters are not going to be hitting solo shots. It's going to be 2 or 3 run shots.
Yeah.
You know, we Aaron Judge, Rizzo, Giancarlo, those 3 dudes, in a sense, have to do their jobs and hit the ball out the ballpark. That's what wins in the playoffs. Since 2015, every team that has led the playoffs in homers has either won the World Series or gone to the World Series. And that includes the Royals in 2015. And you don't think about that team as a power-hitting team, but they still win the playoffs in homers. So
they had some dudes on that team too. I mean, that was Hosmer was at his best at that point.
Right. So if we want to win the World Series, yeah. But those dudes are not power hitters. We have legit power hitters on our team. Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, the only 30 home run trio in the big leagues. So they have to do their jobs. I hope Giancarlo can stay. The one person I'm really concerned is Giancarlo. He found it. Is he going to lose it again? And we don't know.
He's a streaky hitter. It's what he's been since he got here in 18. So
he's been like that his entire career, not even just since.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really start paying attention to him really until he came to New York. I didn't follow the Marlins, obviously. But getting back to the main point with the starting pitching, beginning of the season, starting pitching was our strength. Our guys were going 7 innings deep every game for a good portion of the season. It's like, we could get used to this. This is like going back to the 90s again, where the guys would come in for 7-8 innings and shut down, and you would just see Rivera, and everybody else took the day off. And then you started seeing it kind of do this in June, July, and especially August, where it hit the ground floor. But yeah, that's going to be the key. Starters need to go at least 6 2/3 to 7 innings. That's what it's going to take. You do not want to burn out this bullpen. You just don't, with it being as sketchy and streaky as it is. You don't know who's going to have what on what day, and that's just some voodoo you just don't want to play with. I would. If we're going to be successful, the strength is going to be the starting pitching. It's got to be. And then I'm looking at Twitter right now, actually, and Harold Reynolds actually has a hot take. He said that Oswaldo Cabrera needs to be the leadoff hitter in the playoffs.
Hey, that's not a bad idea, honestly.
No, you know what I mean?
That's an interesting take.
Some people are like, "Oh, he's losing his mind." And it's like, from the left side, Cabrera can get on base, dude. He's a legitimate major league threat. He's legit.
He does get on base. He gets on base at a good clip. He had 10 to 15 walks in 40 games. I mean, it may seem like a low number, but for a young kid to have
22 years old,
yeah.
I'm
like
okay with that. If DJ's still dealing with the foot stuff from kicking the neighbor's cat down the street, not saying that DJ abuses animals, so everybody chill out.
No, Peter, no. Peter, don't come after us.
Yeah, the arm barn, But yeah, DJ legit can't perform, and he's got to be a bench option. You got Cabrera.
That's not. I kind of like that.
I like it too.
I'm not sure Judge is going to hit leadoff the entire postseason, but
yeah, can we just stop
in the,
this?
In the 40 games that he did, he had almost 400, and the
I
Yankees
get
led
it,
the
man.
big league in runs. So
Yeah, but that's all.
the results were there.
Some of those home runs he hit, man, was just like, man, if there were only a person or two on base when he jacked that thing over the wall. Like, come on, man.
That's what the bottom lineup is supposed to do, though. They're supposed to be on base for the big dogs. So they just it didn't happen a couple times. But Judge did hit a couple 2-run homers. Obviously he didn't get the same type of opportunities that he would hit in second. But I do like the idea of Judge in that 2-hole. And you guys know this. I've said this repeatedly. I love him at the top of the lineup. I don't mind him batting leadoff because he's going to get the most opportunities. However, in the playoffs, it's a little bit different. The 2-run homer, 3-run homer is going to be king.
It's a backbreaker.
Mm-hmm. And no one does it better than Aaron Judge.
Nope. So,
I had another question, and now it's escaping me. But it'll come to me at some point in time. Yeah, it'll come to me.
I got a text at 2:00 in the morning. Yeah, I remember it now.
He'll send it.
Danny, why
out
you
to the
text me?
chat.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep. Oh,
I
man.
remember. Okay, so
Oh.
who are the 3 dudes or 4 dudes? You choose the number that you trust most at the back end of the bullpen.
Oof. I'll go first. We talking overall this season or what we have to work with like right now?
Going into the postseason with the postseason roster, we saw what we had out there. We saw the names that we got. Who do you trust to get the final 9 to 12 outs?
My first would be Loizaga. My second would be Efros. Third, Trevino. And 4, if he's healthy enough, Wandy.
So you don't pitch Clay Holmes in any type of high leverage situations yet?
Well, from what I was reading at the end of the season, he was not with the team. He was in Somerset. So I don't know if there was an injury involved or what have you.
Yeah.
Until
he had a shoulder strain.
Yeah, until I can see him pitch in a game in a non-higher let's put it this way. If I see him come in a game and just blow people away and strike out 3 dudes in a row, that fine. Then you can remove Wandy and insert Clay in either one of those 4 options. But until I see that happen, I can't trust it because we saw what happened to Clay when he fell apart, unfortunately, this season. So those are my 4. Right
We've
now.
seen but we've all seen what he's like when he's right. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Like I'm a huge Clay Holmes fan. I mean, he was just added to the Pittsburgh Pirates 40-man roster when we traded for him. So he's under team control for at least the next 4 seasons, from what I gather. But yeah, when he's on. I mean, that sinker dips at almost 100 miles an hour away to lefties and down and into righties. So.
Yeah, but no, I'm still gonna for that question, Danny. I'm gonna go with a 4 horsemen of guys who could close: Loizaga, Holmes, Efros, and Trevino. I'm gonna put the 4 of them up there. They got it. They have experience. I mean, out of all of them, I think Loizaga and Holmes have the least amount of experience. But actually, I'll take that back. Trevino is the one who has the most experience. Out of the rest of them are kind of relatively new when it came not to the bullpen, but to this whole postseason and these high leverage situations. But there's just something.
Loizaga and Trevino might be actually equals.
Well, I know Trevino.
Loizaga's rookie season was in 2017.
Yeah, but Loizaga originally started off as a starting pitcher, and then he's always had these little shoulder and elbow injuries that have really derailed him as a starter. And if Loizaga was like last year, and he's shown that he was kind of getting back to where he was last year, I mean, that's a lights out pitcher. Clay Holmes comes back as first half Clay Holmes, it's a lights out pitcher. Efros is doing really well, and Trevino's doing really well. I'll take those four. Those are my four horsemen. You know, call them the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and just ride the rest of the teams to death.
I'm inclined to agree. However, I want to throw a dark horse in there, and my dark horse is going to be Clark Schmidt. He's nasty. The slider is nasty. We've seen what the two-seamer does, and he has a knuckle curve. He has a starter's repertoire for, that bullpen role, and he's come in and he's done a really good job in different situations. So if one of those dudes are down, I would not mind seeing Clark Schmidt in the 8th inning. And I'll be okay with that. So, but Loiza's going to get the lion's share of closing opportunities. Or, like we spoke about before, when Clay Holmes was healthy, is he going to be the dude who's going to be the dude facing 1 through 4 in the lineup? Loiza is going to be that guy for me. And then behind him, Efros, Trevino, Clay Holmes. I agree with Dave. He has to prove himself. And that dark horse is Clark Schmidt. But those 4 dudes, I think, will be the guys that we're going to rely on the most.
No, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. All right. I think we got it.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Any alibis? Anybody? Bueller?
Alibis.
I love my roster.
I'm like,
we're all pretty much
roster
on point with each other, except for a few to the left or to the right. So, I mean, we're all pretty much somewhat in the same ballpark.
I think out of all the rosters, I think Dave, you went a little bit further out there than the rest of us did.
Listen, man, I've been banging this Peraza drum since the offseason, my man. I gotta stick with my dude.
I agree with trust me. When I agree with you, I think he should. I don't think that he should have been moved off of shortstop for IKF at any point. When they did that, that was preposterous. But they never gave him a chance. My thing is, they never gave him the chance. They turn around. The Yankees turn around. Cashman turned around and said, IKF is our stopgap shortstop till one of them are ready. They bring up one that's ready, and then they don't use him. That is ridiculous in and of itself. I think that Peraza should be the shortstop going into the next season. Let Volpe start learning second base. Peraza can then not Peraza, excuse me. IKF can start moving around. So he can start playing more third base. Especially if you can move Donaldson in the offseason, because we heard the stories that they were trying to trade Donaldson by the trade deadline. So if that's the case, boom, Trevino IKF can play third base, and he looks a lot better at third base than he does shortstop. So, which
is weird because the throw from third to first is further than from short to first. So
it just might be that in between. It might be that in between thing, because look,
DJ
can't play.
To me,
DJ doesn't play shortstop. He plays first, second, and third.
You know what? I would kind of want to see that in spring training, just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it, spring training. It doesn't matter.
He's about to be 35 with the bum toe. There's no like.
He's come off two seasons of injuries that have sapped a lot of his
stuff as well. Wes Welker would say foot stuff.
Foot stuff.
He's got great feet. He does awesome things with his foot stuff.
Foot stuff.
Got too many guys the last couple of years with foot stuff. Carpenter, Bird, now DJ. God, who's next?
I can't remember
with foot stuff.
I can't remember if did we get Lil Castro on this in the final. We kind of went through it a little quickly, but
no, Lacraster didn't make it.
Timmy One Knee did not make it.
No, I didn't. He was one of those guys that I think Dave was the only one who gave him some love. Only one person gave him love. No, it was Danny. Danny, you were the only one who gave him the love. I didn't give him the love. I didn't think he was gonna. I think that's a waste of roster spot right there. Lacastro is a Harrison Bader light, in my opinion. If you're gonna have Bader,
I wouldn't even consider him in the same sentence.
No, I'm saying he's light. Like whatever Bader does, like Lacastro does a lot less of what Vader does. Is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think
He's
Tim
not.
Castro even bats his weight.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's light.
You know,
But he's not going to be on the roster to grab a bat. He's using his
No.
legs to see what's the bag.
Yeah, but
Dave Roberts couldn't.
yeah, I was just about
Dave
to say he's
Roberts-
our version of Dave Roberts.
Turn score. Those dudes are important, and Bader's going to get the lion's share in center field. He's not going to be coming off the bench. We need a guy like LeCastro or Peraza. You could go either way, literally, because Peraza can steal your bag, LeCastro can steal your bag. But LeCastro has been proven in the big leagues to steal it at an 85% clip. And I prefer that over a dude like Lucas Licky who's going to give me garbage innings, or Miguel Castro who's going to give me garbage innings. So that's my fight for Carpenter, who already made the roster. But on our roster, we didn't have Carpenter or LeCastro. And I really think that those two dudes will make an impact in the division series more so than Castro and Licky.
well, the beauty of all this, I think, what is it? Come August. August. We're going already moving backwards in time. October 10th. I'm pretty sure by then that's when we'll know what this postseason roster is going to look like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for everybody for watching on YouTube and following along every week. If you missed this live version of this episode, you can catch us on all the major platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google. Our two newest homes, iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. You can also catch us on CastBox, Anchor FM, Podcast Republic, Podcast Addicts. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on this YouTube channel. And we will be talking to you again on Tuesday night after game 1 of the LDS, unless something completely changes. But we will be back again on Tuesday night after the game. For all of our international listeners across the pond in Europe, South America, Central America, the Caribbean, we appreciate you. Thanks for following along. Thanks for supporting us all year long. Go to our link tree. You can catch all of our content there, all our social channels, all of the places that you can find our podcast. Make sure to leave us a review. Helps us grow, helps us get better. Also give our sponsors some love. Lids. Get your stuff from Lids for the postseason. Postseason is here. Get fresh gear. Southwest Airlines, Hilton, 2 awesome sponsors to get deals from. Spring training is coming up in February. Hey, buy some Rapper Rewards points. From Mark, Danny, myself, Alex, and our awesome producer, Manny. Danny, you got an alibi. Go ahead, brother.
We didn't do World Series predictions. Quickly.
We got time.
No, we don't have time. It's the
We got time.
playoff starts. We don't have
Isn't
time.
it bad juju to be calling World Series predictions before the LDS?
Quickly. Very quickly.
5 seconds.
start off, Danny.
Yankees Dodgers. I said this at the beginning of the season. Yankees Dodgers. Let's go. Hurry up. Let's go. Come on. We're
Come on, Dave. Dave, you go.
I'm going Yankees Mets.
Oh.
I'm going with Subway Series.
I'm going Yankees Cardinals.
Ooh, that's fun. I like that one too.
All right. Good night, everyone. Take it easy.
Hold
Adios.
on, one more second, and our fantasy league just concluded. So shout out to John Whalen, my boy from back home, who won the fantasy league this year. Paul Wooden, our brother from another mother from Prospects 1500, came in second place, and I came in third. So fantasy league was a huge success this year. So thanks for everyone for participating in that. Look forward to doing it again next year. Like I said, for Mark, Danny, and Alex, who wasn't here tonight, and Manny, we'll see you on Tuesday night. Peace.
Peace.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
I like that one, Alex. Yankees Braves.
Braves would scrap us, I think. They're really good.